I paid $50,000 for my sister's wedding. She called me a loser. My parents took her side, so I cut them off and walked away for good, forever. I am 30 years old, male, single, no kids, just a regular guy with a regular life. My younger sister, Sarah, 26 years old, female, is the opposite. She is all about the big dreams, the perfect life, the fairy tale ending. She got engaged last year to this guy, Ryan, 28 years old, male. I thought he was a cool guy at the time, though I did not know him that well. Ryan is the kind of guy who always has some big idea that is going to change everything, except it never does. He bounces between jobs and spends what little he earns on gadgets, hobbies, and nights out, instead of covering the basics. Sarah once laughed it off, saying, "That is just Ryan being Ryan." But to me, it just sounds reckless. Honestly, he does not seem to have a problem with me footing the bill whenever they are in a pinch. If anything, it feels like he is counting on it. Sarah has always been the golden child of our family. Growing up, she could do no wrong in my parents' eyes. If she wanted something, they would bend over backward to get it for her. Whether it was a last-minute party, a new gadget, or even covering her tuition when she blew through her savings. I was the responsible one, the one who never asked for help, never needed much, and always picked up the slack. It has been that way for as long as I can remember. When Sarah announced her engagement, my parents acted like it was the best thing to ever happen to our family. I was surely happy for her, but the way they went on about it, you would think she had solved world hunger or something. Then came the wedding planning. It started off innocent enough. My mom called me one evening. "Hey honey," she started. "I was just talking to Sarah about her big day, and she thought it would be nice to chat with you." I figured it was just wedding talk. Maybe she wanted advice about venues or colors, or knowing Sarah, just someone to gush to about how perfect everything was going to be. So I said, "Sure, tell her to call me." But then my mom hesitated. "Well, actually, we thought it would be better to talk now, together," she said. That was my first red flag. My mom is not one to beat around the bush unless there is something she knows I will not like. I asked her, "What is going on?" "Well," she began, "you know how much this wedding means to Sarah. She has been dreaming about it forever, and she really wants it to be special." "Of course," I said. "That is great. I am happy for her." There was a pause. "She has got so many ideas," my mom continued, clearly stalling. "She is thinking about a live band, custom invitations, maybe even a little surprise for Ryan during the ceremony. She is really putting her heart into it." She finally said it. "But you know," my mom added, her tone shifting slightly, "weddings are expensive. She is doing her best, but there is only so much she can manage on her own. And well, we are a little tight right now too." I figured this was not about advice or gushing. This was about money. "So, what are you saying?" I asked, though I already knew. "Well, Sarah was hoping you might be able to help out a little." "Help out how?" I pressed. She said vaguely, "Just with a few things here and there, like the venue deposit or maybe part of the catering. Nothing too big." Aha. This was not helping out in the sense of lending a hand with decorations or offering to pick up guests from the airport. This was financial help, the kind that was not going to be a little anything. "She really needs you," my mom added, "and you have always been so responsible. We knew we could count on you to make her dream come true." It was not a compliment. It was a warning. I was expected to handle everything because I did not have a family of my own to tie me down. That phrase made my blood boil every time. I did not say anything for a minute, partly because I did not know how to respond, and partly because I was already calculating how much this was going to cost me. "I will think about it," I finally said, trying not to commit to anything. "Great," my mom said quickly, like she just closed a deal. "I will let Sarah know you are on board. This is going to mean so much to her." At first, it did not sound so bad, the venue deposit. My mom said, "It is just a little something to get things rolling. You are so good with money, and you have been working so hard. We knew we could count on you." I did not want to make it awkward, so I said yes. I thought, all right, this is my sister's wedding. It is one day, I can help. But here is the thing about saying yes. Once you start, it does not stop. First it was the deposit, then it was the caterer, then the flowers, the photographer, the live band, and even the dress. I am not exaggerating when I say her dress cost more than my car. I wanted to say no, but it was too late. Family supports family. My mom would chime in every single time. This is such a big moment for her. Do not you want her to have the wedding she has always dreamed of? By the end of it, I had spent $50,000. Yeah, $50,000. I drained my savings, maxed out a credit card, and picked up extra shifts at work to make it happen, all for one day. Every time I wrote another check, I told myself it was for Sarah's happiness. But with each payment, I felt a piece of myself slipping away. Was this what family was supposed to feel like? Sacrificing everything while they took it all for granted. A week before the wedding, Sarah called me in a panic. "The band we wanted just raised their rates," she said, her voice frantic. "I know you have already helped so much, but could you cover the difference? It is only $2,000 and I will pay you back." Well, she never did. But by then, I was too far in to back out. I told myself it was just one last thing. What is another $2,000 after $48,000? But deep down, I knew the money was never coming back. However, the wedding itself, it was beautiful, and Sarah looked like a princess. Everyone had a great time, everyone except me. As I arrived at the venue, my mom cornered me immediately. "Make sure you are around to help with the kids during the reception," she said, as if I was not already doing enough. It hit me then. I was not just a guest at this wedding, I was the unpaid staff. As I sat at the table in the back watching everyone else have fun, I wondered why I had ever agreed to any of it in the first place. After the wedding, I thought I could finally breathe again. I figured Sarah and Ryan would settle into their new life, and I could start focusing on rebuilding my savings. I mean, I had already done my part, right? Wrong. The first sign that things were not over came about a month later when Sarah called me. "Hey, big brother," she said. "I hate to ask, but we are running a little tight this month. Could you help us out with rent?" I froze. "What do you mean you are running tight? Did not you just get a bunch of money from the wedding gifts?" "Oh, well, yeah," she said, laughing like it was no big deal, but we used most of that for the honeymoon and, other stuff. I wanted to say no right then and there, but I hesitated. Sarah sounded so casual about it, like it was just something brothers did. And once again, she pulled out the "you are my big brother" card, so I caved. I sent her enough to cover her rent for that month, convincing myself it was just a one-time thing. It was not. The requests kept coming. Rent one month, utility bills the next. At one point, she asked me to cover a car payment because Ryan had a slow week at work. Every time I started to push back, she would get upset. "You are acting like this is a big deal," she would say. "You know we are good for it," but they were not. I never saw a penny of that money again. The worst part was that Sarah did not even seem grateful. I would see her on social media posting pictures of fancy dinners, weekend trips, and new outfits. Meanwhile, I was eating ramen noodles and working double shifts just to keep my head above water. I tried to justify it to myself. This is temporary, I thought. She is my sister. She will figure things out eventually. But deep down, I was starting to feel like an ATM. Then came the family dinner, the one that changed everything. Family dinners were supposed to be casual, a chance to eat some good food, catch up and laugh a little. But this one, it was anything but. I do not know why I even went. My parents had been on my case about coming, saying stuff like, "It has been too long since we all sat down together, and Sarah and Ryan will be there. Will not it be nice to catch up?" I was not thrilled. I had been avoiding family stuff for a while, trying to dodge the endless guilt trips and money requests. But eventually, I gave in. I told myself, how bad could it be? When I walked into my parents' house, the atmosphere was not warm or welcoming. It felt weirdly tense. Sarah and Ryan were already sitting at the dining table looking way too comfortable, like they owned the place. "Hey, big spender," Sarah said as soon as she saw me, and I swear I felt my blood pressure spike. "Sarah," I said, forcing a smile. "Ryan." I sat down, trying to keep my cool. The small talk started, mostly my mom and Sarah chatting about random stuff, her hair appointment, Ryan's new shoes, the weather. I just sat there. "So," my dad said finally, looking at me, "how has work been?" "Busy," I said. It was the truth, but I did not feel like elaborating. "Yeah," Sarah added, smirking. "I do not know how you do it. All those hours, all that stress, I would be exhausted." Ryan chuckled. "Seriously, dude, you are like a machine. Always working, never stopping. Makes me tired just thinking about it." I clenched my jaw. I could feel my nerves fraying, but I told myself to let it go. It was not worth it. Halfway through dinner, Sarah casually dropped a bomb. "So Ryan and I have been thinking about buying a house." My parents' faces lit up. "Oh, that is wonderful," my mom said. "A house? That is such a big step." "Yeah," Sarah said. "We have been looking at a few places, but, houses are not cheap. We will definitely need some help with the down payment." She said it so casually, like it was no big deal. I did not say anything at first, just nodded, waiting to see if she would elaborate, but of course, she did not. She just looked at me expectantly, like I should know what she meant. My mom chimed in. "It is such a great time to buy a house, though. Interest rates are not terrible, and they found this cute little place they love." I still did not bite. I just kept quiet, pretending to focus on my plate, but they kept going. Sarah leaned in, a little impatient now. "We are just so close to making it work." We have been saving, but with Ryan's job and everything, we have hit a bit of a wall. My mom nodded, giving me that support. Your sister, this would mean so much to her. Look. Finally, I sighed and looked up at them. I just spent $50,000 on your wedding, I said, staring directly at Sarah. Do not you think it is time you figured things out on your own? Sarah's smile disappeared.
Wow, way to ruin the mood,
she said. Seriously, Ryan added, shaking his head. It is not like we are asking for millions. We thought you would be happy to help. She leaned back in her chair, looking like she had just won a prize. I mean, it is not like you have kids or anything. You do not really have responsibilities like the rest of us. The way she said it, so casual and dismissive, made my blood boil. My entire life had been one responsibility after another. But to her, I was just the guy with no real problems who could be her backup plan. You think I do not have responsibilities? I said, barely keeping my voice steady. Who do you think has been paying for all of yours? That is when Sarah dropped the dagger. Maybe if you were not such a loser, you would not be so bitter about helping family. Loser. All these years, I had bent over backward for this family. And now she was sitting there calling me a loser, like everything I had sacrificed did not matter. The words hung in the air, heavy and suffocating, as I stared at her smug expression. I wanted to turn the house upside down, to lash out, but for a second, all I could do was sit there, frozen by the sheer audacity of it all. Was this really how they saw me? I glanced at my parents, searching for some sign of outrage or even discomfort, but my mom just sipped her water, her eyes fixed on the table like she had not heard a thing. My dad ignored everything, completely disengaged. Their silence was deafening, an unspoken agreement with Sarah's words. They were not just ignoring her, they were endorsing her. My hands clenched into fists under the table. I could not stay silent. A loser, huh? Funny coming from someone who has been riding my sacrifices like a free carnival ride for years. You think it is easy being treated like the family piggy bank while you sit back and judge? You know what? Yes, I am such a loser. Now it is time you figure out your own damn life without one. Let us see how far you get. Sarah's smirk faltered, just a flicker, but I caught it. The silence that followed was not just awkward. You are being dramatic, my mom finally said. We are family. We help each other. I felt something snap inside me. Help each other? I said, standing up. All I have ever done is help. I have drained my savings, maxed out my credit cards, and worked myself to exhaustion for you. And now you want more? I am done. I am not your bank account. Figure it out yourselves. Sarah looked stunned for a moment. Wow, you are really going to act like this after everything I've been through? You are so selfish, she said. That is so messed up, man. Ryan added, Why are you so angry? We are not asking for much, just a little help. I shot back. You are sitting there in your $300 sneakers, eating food I paid for, and you want to lecture me about messed up? $50,000 was not much? Covering your rent, your bills, your entire life? It is not enough. What more do you want, my soul? My mom looked like she wanted to say something, but she did not. My dad just stared at his plate. I am done, I said again, throwing my napkin onto the table and grabbing my coat. Do not call me, do not text me, and definitely do not ask me for money to pay your bills. My voice was cold. I did not wait for a response. The door slammed shut behind me, cutting off their stunned silence. For the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe. With that, I walked out, leaving them to sit in the mess they had created. I drove home that night in silence, gripping the steering wheel so hard. I was not angry anymore. I was hurt. I heard that my own family, the people who were supposed to have my back, saw me as nothing more than a wallet. The next morning, my phone blew up. Sarah had sent me a series of texts ranging from passive-aggressive to outright insulting. Thanks for ruining dinner, by the way. You are seriously going to leave your own sister hanging. Wow, you are such a bitter, selfish person. No wonder you are alone. I did not reply. I was not going to engage in her pity party or her insults. Then my mom called. I let it go to voicemail, but the notification popped up almost immediately. Honey, it is Mom. We need to talk. I do not know what has gotten into you, but you need to apologize to Sarah. She has been so upset since last night. Right. Of course, I was the one who needed to apologize. The next voicemail was from my dad. You went too far. That was uncalled for. Sarah has been through a lot, and you just walked out like that. You are better than this.
Better than what exactly?
I did not call him back either. Sarah did not stop. A GoFundMe link. Yep. Sarah had started a crowdfunding campaign for her down payment. The title, Help Us Build Our Future. The description, a sob story about how unexpected circumstances had left them in need. She did not name me directly, but anyone who knew our family could read between the lines. She raised a grand total of $75. I will not lie, I laughed harder than I had in weeks. I wanted to send her a message saying, maybe try being a decent person. It is free, but I figured it was not worth the energy. But things got even worse when I got a call from Sarah's landlord. Apparently, she had stopped paying her rent and told him I would cover it. She said, "You have always handled her bills." He said she lied. "She is not my problem anymore," I told him flatly. "She is not my problem anymore." He did not seem surprised. I guess even her landlord knew she was full of it. Then, because Sarah can never just let something go, she showed up at my apartment. She must have buzzed my doorbell 10 times before I finally answered. "What do you want?" I asked, already exhausted. She looked upset, the whole dramatic act. "You cannot just cut me off," she said. "I am your sister." "Yes, I can," I replied. Her expression shifted from desperation to anger. "How am I supposed to pay rent or buy groceries, or figure it out?" I interrupted. "Get a job, make a budget, do what the rest of us do." "I have a job," she snapped. "Then maybe stop spending all your money on designer clothes and takeout," I shot back. "You are not my responsibility, Sarah. I have done more than enough." "You are being cruel," she said, tears starting to form. "No," I said firmly. "I am being honest. You have taken advantage of me for years. I am done." I shut the door before she could say anything else. I was not about to let her guilt trip me again. A few days later, I got a call from an unknown number. I did not answer, but then I got a notification. I had been served. Turns out Sarah was suing me. Sarah had a knack for getting her way. If you hesitated, she would either guilt you or twist the story to make you the bad guy. Like the time she convinced my cousin to skip a family trip because her kids would be too disruptive, only to turn around and call her selfish for not attending. I did not see it then, but looking back, I should have known. If Sarah wanted something, she would find a way to make you give it to her. I should have seen the lawsuit coming. Sarah's claim was ridiculous. She accused me of making a verbal agreement to support her financially and said I had caused her emotional distress by cutting her off. She even had fake screenshots of text messages where I supposedly promised to pay her bills. I could not believe it. My own sister was dragging me to court because I would not bankroll her life anymore. My parents, of course, were on her side. My mom called to say, "This would not have happened if you just worked things out with her." My dad added, "She is desperate and you are making it worse by being stubborn." "Stubborn?" I shot back. "She is suing me because I will not give her money. How is that okay?" "Just settle," my mom said. "It will make things easier, for everyone." "No," I said. "I am not giving her a dime." So I hired a lawyer and we prepared to fight. The case was a circus. Sarah played the victim perfectly, telling the judge how she had relied on my promises and how my betrayal had left her struggling, but my lawyer tore her case apart. We presented receipts for every expense I had covered, from the venue deposit to her dress. We showed how much money I had already spent on her wedding, rent, and bills. When Sarah's fake screenshots came up, my lawyer pointed out the inconsistencies. The judge was not impressed with her lies. He dismissed the case, and Sarah was slapped with a fine for wasting the court's time. Afterward, my parents tried to guilt me again. My mom said, "You did not have to take it that far. She is your sister. She sued me," I replied. "What did you expect me to do, roll over and hand her more money?" They did not have an answer. Here is where I am right now. I do not know what to expect, but things are not settling down yet, and I am already exhausted with everything going on.
I will keep you guys updated.
Hey guys, here is an update. So after the lawsuit, I thought things might finally settle down. Sarah had embarrassed herself in court. My parents were out of excuses and I was ready to move on. But if you have been keeping up, you already know my family does not work like that. Sarah, of course, was not content to leave things alone either. She started posting even more on social media, painting herself as the victim of a heartless sibling. She did not name me outright, but the posts were painfully obvious. Her friends, who clearly did not know the full story, flooded the comments with sympathy. "You deserve so much better," one wrote. Another added, "Some people just do not have a heart, but the worst was yet to come." The other day, I got a call from my aunt, who I had not spoken to in months. "So," she said, her voice hesitant, "I heard you are refusing to help Sarah anymore. What is going on?" I sighed. "What did she tell you? That you abandoned her after the wedding?" My aunt replied. "She said you promised to support her and then just stopped." I could not believe it. Sarah was not just playing the victim, she was rewriting history. That is not what happened, I explained, walking my aunt through everything, the wedding, the rent, the bills, the lawsuit. By the end, she was quiet. I had no idea, she finally said. She made it sound like you just walked away for no reason. Yeah, well, that is her version, I said. I am done explaining myself, though. If people want to believe her lies, that is on them. Final update. Hey again. I came back with another update since you all asked for it. After that phone call with my parents, I knew it was over. Whatever thread was holding our family together had officially snapped. I had spent years bending over backward for Sarah, and for what? More entitlement, more guilt trips, more people telling me I was not doing enough. I blocked their numbers and made the conscious decision to move on. At first, it felt weird. Cutting off your family is not something most people plan for. I had this nagging voice in my head saying, what if they are right? What if I am the selfish one? But then I had remembered everything I had done for them. All the times I said yes when I wanted to say no. All the sacrifices I made while Sarah kept living like money grew on trees. And that voice, it got quieter. But Sarah, she was not ready to let go. About 2 weeks after I cut ties, I got an email from a mutual friend. Let us call her Emily. Emily said she had been at a family gathering, not mine, thankfully, where Sarah was holding court, telling everyone about how I had abandoned her. She is really laying it on thick, Emily wrote. She told everyone you promised to help with her rent, her bills, even a house down payment, and then just ghosted her. I rolled my eyes so hard I thought they would get stuck. Of course, Sarah was spinning the story. She could not admit the truth, that she had bled me dry, and I finally had enough. Emily also mentioned that Sarah had been calling extended family members asking for money. She is desperate, Emily said. I think she thought the lawsuit would scare you into caving. Well, it did not. And then finally came the cherry on top. A few weeks later, I got a call from a number I did not recognize. Against my better judgment, I answered. Hi, the voice said hesitantly. It was Sarah. What do you want? I asked. She sniffed like she had been crying. I wanted to say I'm sorry for everything. I paused. This was unexpected. Go on, I said. She took a deep breath. I know I have been difficult, and I know I have asked for a lot, but I am really struggling and I do not know what to do. I sighed. Sarah, I have been telling you for years that you need to figure things out for yourself. You cannot keep relying on other people to bail you out. I know, she said quickly. I know, but I am trying. It is just hard. I could hear the manipulation creeping back into her voice. The apology was not real. It was just a new tactic to get me to cave. I am sorry you are struggling, I said, my tone firm. But I am not going to fix this for you. You have made your choices. Now you have to live with them. She did not like that answer. You are being so cold, she snapped. How can you just turn your back on me like this? Because I have spent my whole life cleaning up your messes, I replied, and I am done. Goodbye, Sarah. I hung up. That was the last time I spoke to her. Well, now it has been months since I cut ties with Sarah and my parents, and honestly, it has been the most peaceful time of my life. No guilt trips, no frantic calls for money. I have started rebuilding my savings, and for the first time, I am thinking about what I want for my future. Sarah, from what I have heard through the grapevine, is still living with my parents. She has burned through their savings and maxed out every option they gave her. They are struggling, but I cannot say I feel sorry for them. They created this mess by enabling her for so long. As for me, I have finally bought my own house. It is small, nothing fancy, but it is mine. No one can take it from me, and no one can guilt me into sacrificing it for their needs. I have learned something important after all of this. Family is not about DNA. It is about mutual respect, love, and boundaries. If those are not there, then you are just enabling toxicity. I may have lost my family, but I have gained something far more valuable, peace. They were not invited to the housewarming, and they probably never will be. And you know what? I am okay with that.